Well, hi, everyone, and welcome to a very special episode of Never Seen It. I am Betsy, and with me, as always, is Trent.
Hello, everybody.
Now, what is this, Trent? We seem to be mistaken about what day of the week it is.
I didn't look at the calendar today.
Well, this episode is dropping on a Thursday because today, the day this episode is out, is the 3-year anniversary of our podcast. The 3-year anniversary of Never Seen It.
Holy cow, Betsy. What the hell are we doing?
Holy cow. So we decided that because it's a special occasion and there's a little thing in the theater that we wanted to see and didn't want to wait until we hear about Oscars because we want to see it on the big screen this time.
And we're already in another series right now, right after the Oscars. So I don't know where else to put a movie like this. So yeah, here we go.
So we are going to see Dune Part 2. You don't have to wait any longer to hear what we thought about this movie. But we haven't seen it yet, Trent. So we only just rewatched Dune. We have not seen Dune since we watched it in 2021.
Yeah, November of 2021. And it wasn't even because, okay, we're doing Oscar stuff. No, it was just because it was free on HBO and we were hearing a lot of really good things about it, saying, oh, geez, this is like the best sci-fi thing since Star Wars. We were intrigued and we watched it. And when I remember back to our like year-end Oscar thing, I think I had that at number 2 of the year. And I think you had it at number 3.
Somewhere around there. This was one of our top movies, which shocked the hell out of us.
A huge surprise.
Because we had never seen the David Lynch version of Dune.
Still haven't.
We really had no expectations for this movie other than we heard it was good and we had seen some of Denis Villeneuve's other movies. I think maybe we had only seen one at that point, but the point is we liked it. So we were like, okay, it's enough for us to put it on. It is definitely high sci-fi fantasy.
Hard sci-fi is, I think, the word.
It is very hard to follow. So in the rewatch, Trent, I think there was a lot there that I definitely had remembered.
Yeah.
But there was definitely stuff I had forgotten about. And I think you kind of felt the same way, where you don't really access memories about films quite as easily as I do.
Oh, no. Betsy has almost a photographic memory when it comes to some movies, especially like, okay, people who were in movies.
Yeah, certainly. So when I'm watching this, it's like I'm a second ahead. Like, oh, okay, I remember this part. I remember that part. But you kind of didn't remember this movie.
Kind of no. Like, I remember, okay, there's these families. There's this emperor. It's in the way, way future. And I know there's spice.
Spice.
This is a spicy movie.
It's a spicy movie.
But while doing the rewatch last night, I was thinking, okay, yeah, I get this. Now I remember why I liked this. And going into it, man, was I apprehensive.
I have been trying for months because I told you this movie's coming out soon and I want to see it on the big screen, but I can't do it without rewatching it.
You wanted to go and see Dune Part 1 in the big screen when they were replaying it there. Because we never watched it on the big screen.
When they re-released it, yes, I did.
Yeah. But going in, like I said, I was very apprehensive because, damn it, I know that we're gonna see Dune 2, and I know that this is really hard and complicated. But no, I think the biggest accomplishment of the first movie was that they didn't make it complicated. The most complicated things is remembering the names of the families. That's it.
Yeah, the different groups of people that you're trying to pay attention to. I think that is the hardest thing for me. But this second watch, I actually had a much clearer grasp of what was happening. So there is an emperor who is nameless and faceless. We have never seen this guy. He is given jurisdiction of Arrakis and all of the spice production to the Harkonnen. I think I got that name right.
Yep.
Again,
that's what it was before we came into the movie.
I've watched it twice and I still don't quite have it. And they are, for some reason, banished from the planet.
Yeah.
And he is giving control to the Atreides family, Duke Atreides.
He has bequeathed.
And this time around, I got a better understanding that, oh, it's because the emperor is kind of paranoid and jealous and he just wants to wipe out this family. So he sets them up for failure. He makes some arrangements with the people who are on the planet, the Harkonnen, and he sends his military forces and they basically wipe them out.
Yeah, and like the background of that is the Atreides group, family, whatever, they're kind of benevolent. And they're not like warlike people. They're not going to go out there and try to start shit with the natives, so to speak, on that planet.
The native residents of the planet.
They are gathering soft power in if you want to really do a political analysis of this. When the Atreides group comes onto Arrakis, they're kind of in the back of their mind plan is, okay, we're going to ally with the people who are native to this world.
With the Fremen.
The Fremen or Freemen, if you want to get reductive about it.
Very specific.
Yeah. And before they have a chance to do that, they're on this planet for what seems like, like a couple of weeks.
3 days, a couple of weeks. It's not a very long time.
It's not a very long time. And this other group comes in. They bring their armies. They wipe out the family. They wipe out everything else, all of the production. Then the Emperor sends his own like goon squad after their surviving family because I guess they're a threat. There's not really a big explanation as to what's going on with that.
No, but I definitely got a clearer look at the motivations of people this time around.
Sure.
And then, of course, there is a whole subtext about a messiah and there's a religious order. And then I suddenly remembered, oh yeah, this is the movie and the book, more specifically, that really inspired Star Wars, which is funny because Trent, you can't see him, but is wearing a Star Wars t-shirt
I'm wearing
today.
a Star Wars t-shirt.
That was an accident. He didn't plan that.
Not intentional.
So I think the second one is simply going to be upping the ante. Like, just as much as things cleared up for me in this one, it also rose a lot more questions for me. But the thing that I keep hearing about part 2, and the reason we are not waiting 1 second longer to go see this because the internet is dark and full of spoilers, is there are so many people saying this is like one of the greatest movies ever made. It is better than the first one. And we already, like we said, liked the first one way better than we expected to.
Yeah.
So I think we've got some pretty high expectations for this. I'm trying to like rein it in because
Maybe you do. Like, honestly, I know nothing. I have been able to avoid all kinds of spoilers. I have been able to avoid discussions about the movie. I don't work in an office like you do.
Oh, yeah.
Where people are coming in talking about the movie in full public.
The first day after the opening weekend.
Yeah.
I had so many people around me saying, oh, Dune, Dune, Dune. And I put in my headphones because I'm like, I don't believe they have enough tact to hold it in.
I had a similar situation back when episode 7 came out.
Of Star Wars?
Yes. What others episode 7 would there be?
The Fast and the Furious.
Anyway, so I came at, when I worked in an office, I came back and a couple of people were talking about that movie and I had to shush. So Betsy and I had to go the following weekend. We could not wait any longer.
There are certain movies, there's just no waiting. And this one is probably going to end up coming back around come Oscars season. I feel like a lot of people have a foregone conclusion about that, but I can't wait that long. I'm going to have everything ruined for me. So I'm excited to see this. I'm really excited to see it on the big screen because like I said, we didn't get that opportunity with the first one because I didn't know I wanted the opportunity with the first one. So any other parting thoughts, things you think you're expecting with this one?
I don't know. I mean, like I said, I know nothing about this second movie, like what the plot points are, where we're going here. I know we're likely going to stay with the Fremen and Zendaya and that entire thing. I don't know what's going to be happening off-world.
Yeah, I don't think we even watched a trailer for this. I think we only watched the teaser.
No. So that being said, this is a very long intro because, damn it, we love you guys and we appreciate you being with us for the last 3 years, starting off year 4 with Dune 2.
Yeah, this one's for you guys. So we're going to go to the theater. We're watching Dune Part 2, and we'll be right back. And we are back from Dune Part 2. 1 or 2 things has happened since we last spoke with you. So let's get to it. Trent, what did you think of Dune Part 2?
As the wise man once said, began the Dune Wars have. Man, did I get episode 2 vibes out of that whole thing.
It's like a dark middle chapter of this presumed trilogy is upon us.
Yeah. Holy shit. Wow. Just, again, wow.
Yeah, it took everything from the first one and they upped the ante. I'm not gonna lie. I don't think Paul's that much of a hero. I think we need to be concerned about Paul.
I think Paul kind of sucks and he needs to get off of his mother's teat.
I don't think it's even that.
It's that, but it's, yeah. Wow. Messiah complex.
Yeah, there were large parts of this movie that I was finding myself very disturbed. And the way they accompany what you are looking at with the score is suggesting to me I was supposed to be feeling that way.
Yeah. A little bit uneasy and afraid for the future.
Yes.
And all of these fucking people.
Yes. Religious fanatics are not to be fucked with.
I think that is really the message here. Because if it wasn't apparent in the first movie, good God, and that is not...
Not good God. No.
No. And by that I mean... If the message wasn't apparent in the first movie, that there is a whole big Jesus complex happening with this entire story, but it's amped up so much by the fact that there's so much extra technology and the means to destroy your enemies.
What I'm finding really interesting about this particular version of a prophecy is that it is a prophecy of design. So the Bene Gesserit have been spending millennia specifically choosing who should be having babies with whom in a very particular way to create their own destiny.
Yeah, they got a little bit in there in the first movie where they talked about we have been breeding these bloodlines and blah, blah, blah. And we didn't get one main portion of this because it was revealed in this movie that Paul's mom is the daughter of the Baron Harkonnen.
Yeah. So we're finding out all these things about his true lineage, etc. But what I'm saying is this is almost more like, again, to reference a movie from 20 years ago. So if you haven't seen it, I'm sorry, this is a little bit of a spoiler. In The Matrix.
Oh, yeah, I got that too.
When we get to what's really going on here, they reveal that the one is actually part of the programming. This is not the first time. It is not going to be the last time. They basically have it in the structure of the Matrix that every once in a while, they have a designed person, a designated person to be the one.
And there's going to be this giant uprising against the Machine City, and eventually you make it all the way there, but you're not allowed to continue on. The cycle keeps on rolling along.
But this feels more akin to that, where this Messiah that they have been designing, this savior, it is of design.
Yes.
Like they have... not just one, they have several. It's the scene where they all go to see the Oracle and there's a whole bunch of people that could be the one. So they're like, yeah, it might be Paul, but it might also be this other guy, Fade. Like, why not? Let's go check out what he's about.
Right. Every one of these guys gets tested in their way just to see whether or not they are even in the realm of possibility of being, quote unquote, the one.
Yeah. And even though the Austin Butler character is a fucking psychopath.
Yeah.
He's still got good potential. He's got the genes for it. So they even say, I don't know about this guy, but he also has buttons and levers that we can control. So we're going to just take a sample. We're going to make sure he reproduces. In case it goes badly, the bloodline's still intact.
Yeah. Did you also notice, they covered it in the first movie too, where apparently you as the mother, quote unquote, you as the receiver of this spawn,
the seed,
you can choose the gender.
Yeah, I don't understand how that works exactly.
I don't know, but that's kind of interesting.
They can kind of will into being
male or female.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's why in the first one, there is the other Reverend Mother or whatever she was who came in and said, you, Jessica, thought you knew better.
Yeah.
You thought you could just...
You just had to have a son.
Yep, you could move this along and make the prophecy come true on your own. But let's see how you did. And they never like believe it. And that's what's like the freakiest thing about this whole movie is that because this is a prophecy of design, it's not really a real prophecy. It's just, hey, now seems like a good time to push people in that direction.
Right, because they have been planting these seeds amongst all of the people, all of the Fremen on Arrakis. And they position Paul in this place where he is so impressive and he is able to learn so quickly. But that's really because of his environment. He was encouraged to learn about the Fremen. He was encouraged to learn about Arrakis and whatever it is that your family is destined to be.
Yeah, they're kind of creating the signs to serve their purpose. So they're like, well, we could sure just say, oh, here's the prophecy, and then it's a self-fulfilling prophecy.
Yes, that's exactly what this movie is.
And that's fucking scary. And there are moments where it's like he keeps saying he spends a lot of time in the north. I cannot go south because he's had this vision that he is following a woman and he doesn't know who it is. But if he goes south, it is going to be the start of a holy war that is going to spread across the universe and fuck everything up.
Yeah.
And that is a large-scale, terrifying nightmare of an idea.
Plus nukes.
Plus
nukes.
We introduced those too.
What the fuck?
But he finally figures out that it's his mother in his vision.
Yeah.
And I had this moment where it's like, shit, is he going to have to kill his own mother?
That's what I was thinking.
Because literally, she drinks the Kool-Aid. Like there is literally a moment.
Neon blue Kool-Aid.
Where there is a liquid that she consumes and she goes full bore.
Yeah.
Like she is now on board with, we need to convince the weak and the scared and use that fear against them and make them believe that my son is the guy.
And at the same time, Paul is saying to himself and everybody else around him, I don't want to go south because I know where south leads me. But finally, he's convinced by everybody else who wants him to go. He says, I'll do what needs to be done. And I had the same thought. I thought, oh shit, he's going to kill his mom. Because she's the one planting all these fucking seeds.
She's kind of a radical. Like she gets radicalized when she drinks that stuff.
She does, and she infects everybody else around her because, God, she even says it, I'm going to start with the weak and the influenceable.
Yeah. And in the first movie, she has like a lot of fear and she is crying and she is more mother than anything. And in this one, they basically say, okay, you can become our Reverend Mother or we'll throw you in the desert and you can die.
Right.
Those are your choices.
Yeah, you are useless to us otherwise because the one that we have is about to die. So you're going to take her place or we'll kill you.
Yeah, but you understand what this prophecy is. I believe it. You believe it. So why not do the right thing, become the Reverend Mother, and it's all going to be good.
And help us spread the good word of Paul.
And then from that point on, she is no longer like the sweet mother. She is this really intense, influencing force the rest of the movie.
And not only her, but her daughter inside of her is telling her what to do via her womb.
So let me ask you that. So at no point did anybody but Paul know she was pregnant. And they say, you're going to be the Reverend Mother.
Yep.
She drinks the stuff. And the elderly Reverend Mother, as everything is leaving her and passing into Jessica, she realizes they have this like moment of connection where she realizes that Jessica is pregnant. And she says, what have we done?
What have we done? She's pregnant.
What do you think that is going to mean? Because obviously that's really,
know.
I was thinking it myself, like, why hasn't she said it? She knows. She is trained in this way. She knows exactly what will happen because there are two people involved in this equation and no one else does.
And at no time prior to this moment did she ever say, oh, my daughter is speaking to me.
No, she could not speak. She could not communicate with the baby inside of her.
Right.
But we got all these like freaky, like fetus up close images, and there's like blue liquid coming at it.
The movie kind of starts with that.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, have you noticed that both of these movies start with a woman?
No.
Yeah, the first one started with Zendaya talking about the history of the planet, what's going on. This one
Florence Pugh
was Florence Pugh. I would put money the third one starts with Anya Taylor-Joy.
I would say you're probably right.
Because the women have such an important role in this story. Like, they are more important than the men. They are the ones pushing all the buttons and making all the calls.
The more we talk about it, I think you're right. Like, all of these women are influencing all of these stupid ass men to do what they're bidding.
Yeah. So we have this unborn woman. I'm just trying to figure out exactly what that makes her. Does this make her some kind of savior because she was exposed to all of this knowledge that the Reverend Mother is getting?
Maybe she's more pure.
Yeah, it's going to, by proxy, be passed along to her daughter. So she's going to be born into the world with the blue eyes, with all the knowledge, with all these abilities. Are we about to be faked out? Like, Paul isn't really the savior? Like, the sister is the savior?
It could be. Like, everything beyond this is obviously guesswork. And honestly, watching this movie, as far as like the pacing is concerned, I was expecting it to end a lot earlier than what it did, because they're setting up this big battle. They're setting up, hey, he's finally embracing his Messiah complex, and he's commanding his followers, follow me into battle. We're going to take over this entire universe, or whatever the fuck his message is.
His Legion of Dune, if you will.
I thought it was going to end there, and then the next movie is the big battle, and at the end, he takes over as emperor, and credits. Live happily ever after.
No,
that's not what this is, because that's not what this story is about.
No, the first part is he has to be trained as a Jedi. So that's the first bit. We get a whole lot of sequences of him in the desert learning how to be amongst the Fremen.
Yep.
His mother becomes the Reverend Mother. And then she figures out the best way she can help is to spread the propaganda south, because that's where they're more suspicious and more willing to believe this. And then we do get some more players introduced, like across the universe. Here's the other cousin who is now going to come and take over the planet because Batista shit the bed. He sucks there. And then it does culminate in a big battle, but everything kind of just goes their way. Like, there isn't really any setbacks. We are being propelled forward.
When you have an entire fucking cavalry of sandworms at your back, of course you're going to win.
Well, sure.
That was kind of easy.
It's also that thing of playing on their turf. Like, the Fremen have been there for millennia, and this is their planet, and they know all the ways of surviving on this planet. So even though they don't have all of the weaponry and the technology in the same way, they have different technology.
Yeah.
It is very easy for them to like sneak in and fuck shit up. And there are some really great battle sequences in this movie where they're just sort of like leaping out of the sand and leaping out of the shadows.
Oh,
and
yeah.
they move so fast and
a whole bunch of
quiet.
Ninja shit.
Yeah, ninja shit. Every time they did that, they also cut the sound. Like, did you notice that?
Oh, yeah. Every battle, there's no music.
They just go to dead silence, and you can hear, like, footsteps crunching in the sand and people breathing, and then they amp it up. And so many times through this movie, they did it, and every time I was like just holding my breath. I found myself so often in this movie, like, mouth agape or holding my breath, eyes wide. I was just like, what's going to happen? What's going to happen?
Or I was leaning back in the reclining chair at the theater, like, oh my God, what am I experiencing here? What am I watching?
Yeah, it's big and intense. And there are some fucking powerful moments in this movie. Like, I was getting emotional, not like crying emotional, but just like, holy fucking shit kind of emotional. Like,
yeah, like, this is where this is going. This is what, Paul, you are going to be doing here. I'm not okay with this.
Yeah.
You know?
It is really dark. Like, he is edging desperately close to I'm fucking Darth Vader territory.
Totally.
Maybe that's again that influence that this ended up having on Star Wars. But with the first one, our perception was, oh, he's the Luke Skywalker. In this one, our perception is, oh shit, no, he's Anakin.
He's Anakin.
I've been misreading this situation, and I'm very concerned for the future of Dune.
I mean, he's done everything except kill younglings yet, so I guess we'll see what happens in
Trent.
part 3.
Yeah, in the first one, he's never killed a man. In this one, he's just like, stabby, stabby, everybody dies. Ooh, yeah, I don't even know what else we need to cover here because there is so much that goes on this movie. So let's talk about the fact that this movie is full of the youngest, hottest actors in Hollywood.
Pretty much.
And in some cases, they're unrecognizable. Sometimes they get to be young and hot, and sometimes I don't believe that Trent knew they were going to be in this movie.
Okay, like who?
Did you know Anya Taylor-Joy was in the movie?
No.
That was the surprise. So she had been kept completely under wraps until they had the premiere for Dune 2. And she showed up at the premiere and everyone's like, why are you here? And she's like, because I'm in the movie.
Okay.
Or somebody, like, I don't know. It was kind of one of those things where because it hadn't opened to the public, everybody was really pissed off because the news people were saying, hey, guess what? We can confirm Anya Taylor-Joy's in the movie.
Right.
And it sort of ruined the surprise because fully, that is a surprising moment if you did not hear that story.
It totally is a surprise, but I don't think it really matters that it is her. I mean, she's almost in this movie as much as Zendaya was in the first movie, and they were marketing the shit out of her being in that movie, and she's barely in it.
Right, but
she's in this one a whole lot more.
But this one was a secret. Anya Taylor-Joy, you just said you did not know she was in this.
No.
All of a sudden you went, what the fuck?
I did. But again, I don't think it really matters because she's barely a thing. But I'm sure she's going to be a much larger part of the movie in part 3.
Depending on timing. Like, is it going?
It could be.
Because it's going to, this movie picked up literally where the last one left off.
It did, yeah.
So in the appearance that she has in this movie, she is grown up. She is herself at the age she is now.
Yeah.
But if the next movie picks up where this one left off, that doesn't track. She hasn't even been born yet.
Right. But at the same time, the character of this sister still has to have some kind of form. So this is the form that it is taking.
It may be in just his visions of the future
Yes.
is where she's going to appear.
Yes, because in his vision of his sister, this is presumably on Arrakis after he has freed the people and brought the paradise back to Arrakis. Because there's an entire ocean of water amongst the dunes.
Oh, he freed them, by starting an entire war with everybody in the universe.
Sure.
As one does. So another introduction in this movie is Florence Pugh. She begins the movie, as I said, and she is the Emperor's daughter.
Princess.
The princess. Someone had to be the princess. And she doesn't have like a ton to do. She's sort of there as, she's kind of an observer and an advisor.
Yeah, she's kind of filling in some gaps here and describing to those around her what is happening or like what is possibly happening on Arrakis.
And what she thinks they should do about it.
Yeah.
Like, you can't do this. Like, you can't deal with religious fanatics by killing their savior. That is a terrible idea.
Right.
So let's try a different approach.
Right. And like we keep on saying, the women in this movie are the most powerful, if you want to call it that, because they're the ones moving all the pieces. She's the one who is influencing her father, the emperor, on what to do and what not to do. But the decision to kill House Atreides was not done by her. It was done by this other priestess lady.
The daughter is also part of this religious order.
Yeah.
So her religion is also that of the Bene Gesserit. So she even just calls the woman out and says, this was you. You told my dad to do this shit.
Right. And of course, she's not privy to all of the history of what they've been trying to do. And they really still don't tell her, but in so many words, they do.
So she is an interesting character because she doesn't really, I don't know if she believes the prophecy, because obviously she believes the religion, but she also is sort of just on the outside observing the whole time.
I think she's just kind of there to hold things together and maintain power.
Okay. Like to be the empress? Because that's the whole thing at the end is he says, I'm going to take your hand.
Yep.
You're still going to rule. We're going to have that continuation of power, but we're going to do it together.
Right. And she's the first one to suggest that. I will willingly take your hand. You can marry me. You and I will rule, but please don't kill my father because, hey, he's my father.
Well, and because there was a challenge and he had a champion, technically that has been decided. He doesn't need to die because your champion died.
Right.
But I'll be curious how her role develops because she really was just sort of scratching the surface here. Like she is definitely invested in this.
Yeah.
Pardon while I think this through, because this is the hardest one, I think, for me to try to figure out what her relevance is and how she's going to be important moving forward.
I feel like she is going to play her part in that she wants to maintain some kind of power. She also doesn't want the entire universe to blow the fuck up.
Yeah.
And there's also going to be this weird love triangle with Zendaya because she is not a believer. And I think they intentionally set it up early on in this movie. I don't think they really talk about it in the first movie, but she is not a believer. She's kind of laughing at all of the other people going to do their prayers, and it's like, oh, we're young people. We don't need the religion. We just need to live our lives like normal.
But even at the end of the movie, when everybody, like the emperor bows down and kisses his ring.
Yep.
Everyone else in the room follows suit and they get down on their knees. And the only two that don't are Zendaya and Florence Pugh. For different reasons, I feel like, but kind of the same reason. So that's what intrigues me about Florence Pugh, because if she was going along with this, if she believed this prophecy, if she thought this guy's the real deal, wouldn't she also be kneeling?
I don't think that she does think that he is the real, Messiah or whatever you want to call it. This is all a game of power. Mm-hmm. So she played her part. She showed her hand, and now she's going to continue to play. Zendaya is going to fuck off and do whatever else. I have no idea what she's going to do.
She's not going to stick around, that's for sure.
No, but I think there is still I know she has a role to play. I'm sure she does.
Well, yeah. They wouldn't bring her into the movie if she didn't have some kind of importance.
Right. So like what she's going to go off and do, if she's going to recruit other people to try to come influence the new emperor or try to bring things down from inside, I have no idea.
Yeah, the whole Bene Gesserit thing really adds a wrinkle to this entire story because it is this self-fulfilling prophecy and they are moving all the pieces and they just kind of keep building other potential prophecies. Like it's never about an actual Messiah. It's just about keeping themselves in power and the right houses in power.
Yeah, and I've got a question about that entire thing regarding him being, the Messiah. There really isn't anything that is beyond believability in this world as far as doing things supernaturally. The only thing I can really think of are his visions. He can see the future. He can look at a guy in the crowd and say, your mother was missing an eye that she lost in the 5th grade.
And by that part of the movie, you could almost put that all to he's been inhaling the hallucinogens for so long.
Sure. But
that he's like connected to some subatomic community.
That's the only thing that is unexplained here. Where is he getting these visions if indeed he is not any kind of real Messiah?
Well, there's definitely some kind of mysticism happening because obviously like the voice, that thing comes up a little bit in this one.
Yeah, you're right. I forgot about that.
And it's like taking all of the history and the people who are part of the bloodline and somehow commanding all of the spirits at once to make other people do what you want.
Yeah, and because he has such a mixed bloodline, maybe that makes him the most powerful.
Yeah.
And it's hardest for him to be able to hone that.
His midichlorians are off the scale.
That's right.
Every time we have to say that. Maybe. Well, these are the things that I just sit here and every time I think I understand it a little more questions arise. Like I was having that issue at the end of the first one when we rewatched it because he was having visions of Janus. And then I'm like,
Yeah.
but that's the guy he killed at the end of the movie. And then I have to remember, okay, he has visions and he says they play out, but not exactly as I envision them. Like he had visions in the first one where Zendaya is stabbing him.
Right. And the same guy in the first one, he's like seek the friend or something like that.
Showing him the way.
He's going to be showing him how to do whatever it is. Instead, it's Zendaya doing it. And like you said, yeah, there's visions of Zendaya stabbing him. And yeah, he's seeing all of these possibilities, which, hey, a good, leader and prophesizer would be able to do.
Look at the signs and pick the narrow path.
Yeah.
And when he actually does also drink the Kool-Aid and his vision is opened up, he says, I can see this path, I can see that path, and there is a narrow way through it. And we don't know what that means, but you, of course, lean over to me and you put up your one finger.
I put up the one finger that Doctor Strange did in that one movie.
In that one movie that also stars Josh Brolin and Dave Bautista. Going back to young, hot people in this movie, one of them was made up to look as not young or hot as possible, and that is Austin Butler.
I don't know. I was kind of digging his vibe.
You were into his almost toothless looking, bald head, no hair.
And no eyebrows.
No eyebrows, who is also a psychopath. You were kind of into that?
Sure, why not?
So the thing I did like that he was doing was that he kind of was doing a voice similar to what Stellan Skarsgård is doing. Because
absolutely.
He is another nephew, presumably Batista's brother. Like he says he's brother.
Yeah, they call each other brother.
And so he's doing kind of a genetic thing, but he's also like ripped to shit, and he has, goes out on his birthday and just fights 3 guys.
Yeah, there's this weird blood sport thing on Harkonnen that it's his birthday, so he gets to go off and kill people, but they throw 3 people who apparently are drugged or injured or like gimpy in some fashion.
They slow him down.
Yeah. And he kills him with no problem, but there's another kind of smaller guy, older guy, who isn't drugged, and he's just going to play with him for sport. He's going to take his shield off so that he's actually vulnerable, but, by the end, he's just kind of toying with the guy.
Because the Baron basically set him up to, well, maybe he'll die, and if he doesn't die, well, then that's good, I guess.
Well, he says, show me what you're made of, buddy.
Show me who you really are.
Yeah. I know you can do this, so go and do it.
So this sequence was fucking wild because they introduced the fact that this planet has a black sun.
Yeah.
So it's like a white orb in the sky with all these little spots in front of it. Mm-hmm. And the entire arena is washed out in black and white. I would guess that to some extent, they did that for real and then just like really amped it up in the editing. But it is really like bright and crazy to look at in the theater because there's so much white, so much white.
Did you also notice the fireworks were black? Well, that was maybe one of the coolest visuals in this entire movie.
And they weren't just explosions. They looked like little droplets of water.
Or they looked like little tiny black holes.
It was like if you drop oily water onto a piece of glass and the way it splatters. That's what the fireworks looked like. And I was like, what? Yeah. What? And in this sequence, we got another young, beautiful person because we got Leah Seydoux, who is
she's another one of them who goes up to him as it was after his birthday as a present. Hey, guess what? Come back to my room and I'm going to let you put your thing in my box.
But she's another member of the Bene Gesserit, and she's there to test him. And he has problems with his own mother, who I'm sure was also a Bene Gesserit, because that seems to be the running theme.
He kills his own mother.
Yeah, he has mommy issues, but he's also very impressionable when it comes to like young, beautiful women. So they send
even
her.
say he's like sexually vulnerable, or I don't remember exactly what they say.
The point is, she kind of threatens him with a good time with a little bit of violence and pain. Then they fuck and she gets his baby inside him and she's like, yeah, he's a little crazy, but he can be controlled.
Right.
Like, look what I was able to do with almost no problem.
It's kind of like they were trying to manipulate him into being the next Paul, because Paul is kind of going crazy in his own right.
No, that's exactly what they were doing, because they said, we have other prospects. And This is our next
There
best
is
bet.
another.
There, two, there always are. And so we get that whole thing. They're like, okay, well, let's move some more pawns around. And he's going to go in. We're going to tell the Baron you should send him in. And he agrees. And yeah, Austin Butler is almost unrecognizable in this movie. I had heard people saying he was really, really good.
He was.
He's a freaky little weirdo in this, which is not exactly what I was expecting from him. Like, I was just based on the pictures of him.
Well, and just think about the family. All of those guys are fucking fucked up.
All of the Harkonnen, you mean?
Yes.
Yeah, they're all bald and white and wrinkly and crazy, and they have like black oozy children friends. I don't understand that. Like, what exactly is going on there? Where Austin Butler's character, he says, "Oh, go and take that body into my room because my children haven't been fed, or my friends haven't been fed."
No, it's not children. It is his
pets, I guess he called them.
Well, he calls them his pets, and it's the handmaidens. And like in an earlier scene, he's saying, "Hey, do you want this liver or whatever the fuck?"
Like, are they
I don't know.
cannibals? Is that part of why they're so freaky looking?
I don't know.
And then
You
there
don't
was
see any of that.
well, and in the first one, there was like that weird black spider bug thing just in there for a
Right.
scene, like drinking out of a bowl, but it had like a
Right.
human mouth. Like, there's a lot of freaky shit on this planet that I do not understand.
Oh God, I totally forgot about that.
And then in this one, when he is out on the battlefield and they figure out, oh, that guy's not drugged, we better be ready. They send out some like reinforcements, and same thing. They're just like freaky in black suits, and they have big hats and like spiky whips or something. Yeah, I don't know. It's a lot of like BDSM shit.
I don't know about that.
I don't know how to describe it. It's dark and weird.
Well, speaking of episode 2, they have the entire arena battle.
Yeah, you're not wrong there. And I also wonder just how much of this is in this book, because is Dune like a series? It's a series of books, yeah?
Dune is one volume. I believe it is just gigantic.
It's like 4,000 pages.
It's
where
more
we
than that.
explore
It's
all of
huge.
this.
Yeah.
And of course, we had one more young and beautiful person, and that was Christopher Walken. Okay, maybe not so much, but another one that I had heard was in this and then almost immediately forgot. So when he shows up in literally the opening scene as the Emperor, I was like, oh yeah, I did not know he was in this.
Yeah,
or
they
I
just kind of casually drop, oh yeah, this is the Emperor. Yeah, we haven't met yet. Hi.
Right. What did you think of him in this movie? Did you think it was effective? Did you like this choice? Or was it a little too weird for you?
No, I don't think it was weird. I think him being portrayed as kind of a doddering fool they describe him in the first movie as this very jealous man, and he's very insecure, which is kind of what he's playing up here, but not as like severely as I was kind of expecting. Maybe he should have been more yelly and screaming at people to go and take care of this kid on Arrakis. And I mean, he does some of that, but I just kind of wanted more energy out of him.
It's kind of the thing where he's not really a villain. He might be the villain, but he is not a villain.
I feel like he doesn't really understand the repercussions of his actions.
Well, because he's doing what he's told, even though he's the Emperor. Like Florence Pugh says to the other woman, "Oh, it was you who told my father to take him out, right?" And she gives this whole tirade about how the Atreides line was corrupted and bad, and we needed to wipe it out. So that, yes, I told him to do that.
Yeah.
And then at the end, when he confronts Paul, like when he goes to Arrakis and the two of them end up face to face, Paul has defeated his champion.
Mm-hmm.
He looks him in the face and says, "Do you know why I killed your father?"
Yeah.
And the reason he gives is kind of a strange one.
I think it makes perfect sense, though. We were kind of talking after we rewatched the first one, where the Duke's real goal here was to create an alliance with the Fremen, whereas when the Harkonnen were there, they were doing battle with the Fremen the entire time that they were there, only to get the riches from the spice. Okay? Now, the Duke is gonna be there. He's gonna do what he's there to do.
What he's told to do.
He's gonna do what he's told to do, but at the same time, in the background, he's gonna create these alliances that, at a moment's notice, he could maybe call upon to, I don't think he has like desire to overthrow the emperor, but at the same time, he might be like the power behind the power.
And the emperor views that as weakness because he says your father was weak. He ruled with love.
Yeah, and I think that's really where it is. What the emperor thinks is, hey, no, you should have ruled over the Fremen and slaughtered them like the rats that they are. Instead, you want to break bread with them and make friends.
Yeah, that's where I'm just trying to read the emperor. I'm trying to understand him a little bit better. And right now I'm like, those two things don't line up. In the first one, when we don't know anything about him other than he is jealous and he sets it up that they're going to wipe out the entire house because it's got to happen. But then in this one, at the beginning, like the first thing Florence Pugh says is, it happened overnight. It happened in the dark without warning. When my father heard about it, he didn't say anything. Like he just didn't react at all. And part of that is because he knew it was going to happen.
Right, but it wasn't done by him. It was done by the Harkonnen.
But that's what I'm trying to understand because I just don't get it. I can't like line these two things up because in this movie, it feels different than in the first one. Like he's so just old and quiet. And maybe that's the point. Maybe the point is he is under the influence of so many other people that at the end it's just a show, him saying that. Like maybe he wants Paul to kill him because it would be more convenient. So say something to piss him off.
That's where I'm coming from here, where he doesn't really know the consequences of his actions. He just kind of does things and hopes it works out because it's always worked out up until this point.
Interesting.
It's a weird situation, and I almost wish they had more of the Emperor and how he came to power and what his backstory is. But, you know, in the reality, it doesn't really matter.
No. I didn't hate Christopher Walken in this role, but, you know, he is not an actor that gets to do things like this very often. And he's one of those like very, very New York guys. So sometimes when he's putting on like an accent or he really, I felt like had to work on his delivery in this one because he is not doing the Christopher Walken stilted delivery that everyone knows and loves.
No, of course not. But you can't always get a guy like Christopher Lee to be in episode 2 and have that booming voice and have this presence about him.
Which episode 2, Trent? Because he does this a lot.
You're not wrong.
Yeah, and I don't know who you would have gotten apart from a Christopher Walken. Like there's a lot of like really great older actors with some gravitas that could have done this.
Sure.
But clearly Denis Villeneuve is saying something with choosing someone like Christopher Walken.
It could be he is trying to portray him as kind of a doddering old fool.
Like the humor behind someone like Christopher Walken.
Maybe.
Like it doesn't make sense and that's why it makes sense.
Like he cannot be this evil, evil man. But when he finally speaks, he says something that you don't like. He calls the Duke weak. And that's just enough to piss off Paul.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm going to have to sit with that one a while. Like the same thing with the first one. This movie bears repeating. Like I definitely followed it, I think, more than the first one. And it helps that we just rewatched it.
Yes.
So I know the players, I know the plot, but there's still a lot here. I will say, pacing wise, I have a Fitbit. And every time it gets to be close to the hour, it buzzes at me to get up and move. And it did that at the beginning of the movie. And then what felt like about 10 minutes later, it did it again. I'm like, holy shit, an hour is gone?
Hour. Yeah. I only looked at my watch, I think, once, and we were 2 hours in. It's like, oh, okay.
At the very beginning, it felt like, okay, maybe it's a little bit of a slow burn, a slow build. But then once it took off, it didn't fucking stop.
Like I was halfway to saying, oh my God, am I bored? Am I bored by this movie? Because it picks up exactly where it leaves off. They're kind of all doing whatever in the desert. He gets all of these quests to move up in the chain to basically become a Fremen, even though he doesn't have the Fremen blood, but he's going to be accepted by these people.
And then, of course, his final test, Trent, is he has to ride the big sandworm. And I'm not going to lie, that was one of the greatest things I've ever seen in a fucking movie.
It's really fucking cool.
It was, again, the sound cuts out. All you hear is that thud, thud, thud that they use to call the sandworm. And then there's sand flying and everyone's holding their breath. And he fucking does it. when he is running across the top of the dune and you can see the dune collapsing.
Yeah.
And then he just falls into this void and you know he's going to do it. It's in the trailer. It's no secret it's going to happen. But seeing it in the trailer and seeing it in the context of the movie are two very different experiences.
Right, because kind of in the background before he goes up there, Zendaya's out there kind of saying, you know, you shouldn't be doing this and you don't need to do this. You're already a part of us.
It's going to kill you. Why are you going crazy?
Yeah, but then by the end, when she sees it and everybody sees it, they're all jumping up for joy. Even she was doing it.
I like the addition of them saying, call a big worm, and then they see the sand and they're like, not that big. It's the biggest fucking worm any of them have ever seen.
Yeah, and of course, it just reinforces all of their beliefs about him, at least the fanatics among them.
Yeah, because Javier Bardem's character, they say, oh, well, he's from the South. Can't you tell from the accents? I love, they qualify why he doesn't speak the same way as everybody else. It's like, oh, you sneaky fucks found a way to include his accent.
Right.
He is great in this. I love that he has so much to do. And he actually gets some of the funniest moments in the movie. Like,
yeah, I was kind of hoping that we were going to get some kind of levity because there was zero in the first movie that I could remember anyway.
No, and the majority of it does come from Javier Bardem.
Yes.
Like, there's the part where he's talking to Paul and Paul says, I'm not the Messiah. And then he immediately turns around to all his friends who are also from the South and he's like, only the real Messiah would deny that he's the Messiah. And they all go, ah!
Yeah. And they're just nodding their heads.
They just keep finding ways to apply what they've heard about this situation to what is going on here. Like, I just think about Life of Brian, where he's got all these followers and he doesn't want the followers. And he's like, I'm not the Messiah. Quit following me. And they're just like, only the real Messiah would deny it. And it makes them more fervent and follow him harder.
Yeah.
It's like, you guys are all insane.
And really, you could see where this is going, where you have all of these fanatics out there. They're going south, so there's going to be even more fanatics down there. And his
mom's been working on him.
His mother has been working him over like crazy. And I just kind of felt a little sad because, yeah, he's just Paul. He's just a guy.
That's where I feel so torn up about this movie, because there are moments where everyone around him is pushing him to this destiny. But then there are moments where he is also buying into it, where I don't even know if it's that he believes it at first, but he uses it to his advantage at different times.
He does.
And as we're watching this, I'm slowly realizing, yeah, I don't think that we're supposed to be rooting for this guy as a hero. I truly
not by
don't
the
think
end.
That's where this story is going to go.
Okay, I have a question. There is a point in the movie that things kind of turn for Paul, and it's when they go south. All of them are riding their sandworms to the south. Paul gets there first. There's nobody there at this compound. He goes inside and immediately gets greeted with the worm water. It just seemed to me like that was very abrupt and unearned. Like, why? Why did you immediately go inside and do that?
Because he had a vision. When he was in the north, he knew what would happen if he went south, and he kind of pressed against the rock, and that was when he was calling Jameis, and he was interpreting the vision of what he said. And he kept saying something about, your eyes will be open, your eyes will be open. I'll show you the way. And he figures out, okay, it has to do with what my mother said, because she said after she did it, you have to drink it. You have to do this, and it'll open your eyes. And he was like, what the fuck are you talking about, woman?
Yeah, I'm not going to do that.
No, you're crazy. You've been through a thing. Go take a nap or something.
Take care of my sister.
Later on, it just keeps like coming back to him. Like, there is no escaping this destiny. So once he sees this, that's how he interprets it. That's why he says to Zendaya's character, I will go south and I will do what has to be done. Like, he just sort of accepts his own destiny.
Yeah, and that's where we were thinking, oh shit, is he going to kill his mom?
No, but
or
you could have
dissuade the people against following him in that way because they're all fucking fanatics down there.
Yeah, he could have done that, but instead he chose, I'm going to open my fucking eyes.
I'm going to embrace everything. They can follow me like I'm their god. It doesn't matter because I'm going to go off and do this other thing.
And that's why he did it so, like, matter-of-factly, I'm here. Here we go.
Yeah, I did not like
thing.
I did not like that.
I don't think it was as dramatic a turn as you did. I think he had, in that scenario, if you've been paying attention, he had, like, 2 things he could do. And his 2 things were kill his mom, kill this fucking religious fanaticism that's brewing down there, and put a stop to that whole thing, or drink the Kool-Aid. And he opted to drink the Kool-Aid.
All right. Well, I think that's pretty much the majority of the main beats here when it comes to the storyline and the progression and everything else. But there's plenty of things that are like smaller things that I wanted to talk about here.
Hit me, Trent.
Starting off, when this like kill squad comes to Arrakis, they, number one, can fly.
Obviously. There's a lot of people in the first one that were doing that too without much explanation.
They don't explain that at all. I guess it's just some kind of Harkonnen thing. But they all get kind of sniped, and they are literally dropping like flies like off of this big cliff.
In practical effect form. I loved
just
how
the
they
big
pulled this off.
Thuds.
Well, and even the whole sequence, like when they're flying up the top of the hill, those guys are just on wires being yoinked up.
Sure.
Like it looked very, very real. And then when they're falling, they're just actually dropping bodies.
Right.
Like it was great.
And a kind of a weird thing, they don't really say exactly what they're talking about in the first movie, but it's implied. But here you get to see it. They harvest these dead bodies for their water.
Yeah, every ounce of water you can get, it doesn't matter where it comes from.
Right.
It is precious and important. You live on a fucking desert planet.
And this water is not good enough to drink because of, like, I guess the Harkonnen bodies are too impure, but they can use it as coolant for their machinery, I guess.
Uh-huh. Everything has a use.
Just them just sticking this mechanism inside of them and watching it all kind of bubble up in there.
And like the one guy who wasn't quite dead.
Right.
And she's like sucking out his juices and slapping his hand away. Get the fuck off.
Man.
I'm taking your liquid.
Fuck. Of course, Paul has to go off on a temptation quest, let's say.
I liked how during this scene, he tried to mansplain to the woman who is native to this planet how to do the sand walking.
Yeah, and by the end, he just says, okay, I'll shut up.
Yeah, that's not how the anthropologist in the video
Seriously, he was doing the actually.
Genuinely. And he's like, I will shut up and I will follow you.
Right.
And she teaches him how to survive the desert.
Right. And he's given her the eyes, saying, she even says, don't look at me like that. Almost to the point where Natalie Portman says, it makes me uncomfortable.
Yeah. The next thing you know, he's going to be saying, I hate sand. It's coarse. It gets everywhere.
For fuck's sake, George Lucas.
You're irritating.
For fuck's sake. Anyway, of course, they have sexy times.
They actually have sexy times.
Yeah.
Like, we don't get like the full beginning to end, but you can tell what was happening here.
Oh, yeah. And like all of a sudden they're literally just sleeping in this tent and they're sleeping together later on in the movie.
There's some time lapses here.
There are.
But they don't actually go that far. Like it's less than a year for the whole movie because mom's still very pregnant.
Yep.
Florence Pugh says the year and it's the same year it was at the beginning of the first movie.
Yep. I would say maybe, 6-7 months.
Probably.
Ish.
At the most. But yeah, during this like training sequence, they kind of jump a little bit where at first Javier Bardem is sending him out into the desert by himself and says, peace out, see you in 2 weeks or something.
Right.
And then the next thing we know, she's just going to help him learn instead of sending him out to die.
Sure. And he also does the thing where, hey, you might hear some spirits. You might be tempted by the devil.
The voice of the devil.
For fuck's sake.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
The winds will whisper. And also there's caterpillars and they'll kill you. The centipedes, excuse me.
Yeah.
But we don't see any of that.
No,
it just sort of jumps ahead to, he's fine.
I do like the fact that he names himself after the little mouse.
Yeah. That's what his name means. It's
right.
like, interesting choice.
I get it. He's a small little weakling boy, but he's very powerful.
Well,
and he's very resourceful.
And of course, the name that they say, well, that mouse, it's like, that's a strong name you picked.
It survives on its own. It makes its own moisture.
Mm-hmm.
Later on, Josh Brolin is apparently still alive. and Betsy, he became a smuggler.
Yeah.
You know, smugglers in space.
No space smugglers. That's not a thing. He's also, they alluded to it in the first one, and they really went there in the second one. He is a warrior poet.
Yeah.
In the first one, he's reciting poetry, and in this one, he's playing a sweet guitar.
He's wailing on a guitar.
You said they show his hands, and he's singing before you see his face, and you're like, I know that voice.
I know that voice.
Because at the end of the first one, they don't conclusively show you what happened to him.
No.
He's just gone. So for him to reappear is unsurprising to me. But it also makes sense why there's all these stories going around about him writing poems for his castmates in Dune. Have you been hearing about this?
No.
Yeah, Timothée Chalamet, I think, was the first one to say, yeah, Josh Brolin wrote me a poem. And then somebody else came out and said, yeah, he wrote me a poem too. It's like, yeah, I think he's in character. He's writing poems for his castmates because that's who his character is.
One thing I forgot to say before the sexy times happened and they kissed for the first time, I think a good pickup line is, quote, I'd like to be equal to you. Hey, baby, I'd like to be equal to you.
How do you feel about equality?
Feminist pickup line.
Let's get it on.
I really like that.
All right, I had one thing we haven't touched on yet. What did you think about her name and her being involved as part of the prophecy? Because she said, oh, I don't like my name. It means desert spring.
Oh, right.
And it's part of the prophecy. And when he's on his deathbed, she's able to take her own tear mixed with a drop of the other water that he consumed, and somehow it revives him.
And she's like, okay, fine, go ahead and get me a drop of this life water. I'll give it to him and I'll save his life. Fine. I guess the prophecy is right.
What does that mean? I didn't understand the science here. Like,
science we're talking about.
I'm going to try to make sense of it. Like, she just takes her salty tears and then gives him more of the fucking poison and it revives him?
I guess.
There's no real logic to it. And I don't know. It's just more prophesizing.
I have no idea.
It was vague. It was vague at best. It's just it's another prophecy moment.
Well, yeah, like everybody else around him is just saying, oh, you're a part of this. You're a part of this.
Yeah, everything's a sign. And this is it. He's the guy. He's the one.
It is written.
Yeah. I don't know. It was a lot. It was very silly. And of course, she's a reluctant part of it because she is like, this is some bullshit. It's all your fault. You're going to kill him. And the only reason she does it is his mom does the voice on her.
Right.
Well, Trent, do you have any other moments or anything else that you wanted to bring up before we wrap this one up?
One last little thing that I kind of forgot about. I re-listened to some of our episode from the first Dune movie, and I think we both started off by saying, God, this movie's cool. It's just it looks cool. It sounds cool. All these people are doing cool things. And one thing that they showed here that they didn't show in the first movie is one of the weapons that the Fremen used to disable the harvesters. They have magnet mines. Did you notice those?
Yeah, in this one?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was cool. That was a nice one.
As the big metal machinery gets put onto the planet, these mines are activated and they get attracted magnetically to these things and they blow the fuck up.
I also like the physics of the lasers, and this was in the first one too. When a laser hits something, it doesn't stop. It goes straight through.
It's a laser.
It's a fucking laser. And I don't think I've ever seen another movie where they do that. Like, they're cutting a hole in the door stops it, and the laser doesn't keep going. In Dune, in this series, the laser just keeps going forever. It is a really fucking powerful laser, and I like that continuity. Yeah, I think my final thought on this is simply, this is an epic movie series. This is an epic like we have not seen on the big screen for a really long time. Like maybe since Lord of the Rings.
Yeah,
something
maybe.
to this scale and scope that is very high concept.
That you can't cover in just one movie or two movies.
No, but he also has such an understanding of the material that he is able to translate it in a way that people who really aren't drawn to this kind of concept are still finding themselves invested in it.
My feeling here is that the people who wrote this movie and directed this movie and are filming this movie, they did the work. They did their homework on the backstory, the front story, the future story, everything. They understand how this world works, and they're putting it on screen in a way that people who have never even heard of Dune can get it. I had heard of Dune, but I knew nothing about it. I knew fucking sandworms. That's it.
And I knew probably even less than that.
Yeah. But I appreciate the fact that they are doing this with a deft touch. They are very respectful of the source material, I believe anyway. And I think fans of the book are getting exactly what they want.
Like the people who were doing Game of Thrones, when that show was on, we've now hit the threshold where I want to know what happens next, and I'm jealous of the people who have read the books. But now I'm too far into the movies. I'm not going to read the books and spoil the movies for myself.
We told ourselves, okay, no, we are not going to go back and watch the David Lynch movie. No. There is a television miniseries out there that's also all complete.
Supposedly pretty good.
We're not going to do that. I do not want to be spoiled. I want the Denis Villeneuve story for myself.
You want the pure experience, but there is a part of me that is jealous of the people who have read this tome and they know where this is going.
Right.
It's like the Game of Thrones thing when so-and-so dies and so-and-so dies and they're sitting there smug knowing I knew that was going to happen because I read the books.
Right. And of course, in Game of Thrones, there's so many different things that they did not do and, maybe made it better for the show.
For television, it was better the way they handled it.
Right.
But I just hope it's not going to land with a wet fart. This series is building so much.
Yeah, I cannot imagine that if they pulled off the dark middle chapter, that they're going to fuck up the finale.
Unless we have Ewoks. I guess we'll find out.
Oh. Betsy, no, I think the Ewoks are going to come if we were to watch the David Lynch movie after all of this. Maybe we should. After all of this is done in like 3 more years...
Oh yeah, I definitely would like to see it just to see how different it is because it's done in the 80s when the technology is different. It is a very stylistically different director. Like David Lynch is a weirdo in his own right.
Sure.
But he's also kind of a brainiac. That's why his movies are so wacky and not everybody gets them. Like I've seen, I think, 1 David Lynch movie and I'm like, I don't know if this guy is for me. But that's why it's a blind spot. It doesn't mean it's all like that for me. Maybe Dune is one I'll be like, okay, he took his style and applied it to a property that already existed versus this is fully formed out of my own brain. That's different.
And from my understanding, the David Lynch movie should have been a big epic like this is, but it was the entirety of the book. The studios told him, no, you're not allowed to do the big epic. They had to edit it under 2 hours. How the fuck do you condense this entire story in a less than 2 hour movie? I have no idea how they did that.
They probably didn't. And that's why it's not like...
Ask us again in about 3 to 4 years.
We'll see. But for now, that's where we're going to leave it. That was Dune Part 2. Thank you for bearing with us as we get through all of this complicated sci-fi.
And if we got things wrong, I don't care. That's just my interpretation of everything.
Yeah, I guess we'll find out when Dune Messiah comes out in however many years.
Is that really the name of it?
I believe it is. That's the working title is Dune Messiah.
Oh, come on. Just do Part 3.
We'll see. Maybe he will do Part 3. I don't know. I am not Denis Villeneuve.
Are they going to do the thing that they did with the original Star Wars trilogy and put a subtitle on them? Because the original was just Star Wars. The second one was just Empire Strikes Back. But then they went backwards and they said, okay, Star Wars Episode 4, The New Hope, and then Star Wars Episode... Yeah.
I think it'd be more interesting to know when we get the prequel trilogy for Dune. But we would like to know, have you seen Dune Part 2? God, I hope so. If you've made it through this entire episode, what the hell
a long one.
Are you doing... if you haven't seen this movie? But please send us your thoughts. Are we on the right track? Have you read the books? Do you know how they go? Give us a little wink emoji or something at least to let us know we're on the right track. Email us, neverseenitpod@gmail.com. You can also follow us on social media. Send us a message on there, Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter. We're also on Blue Sky. If you have been hanging out over there, we'd love to see you. If you're enjoying what you're listening to, did you know we also have a Patreon?
Patreon? What's that?
That is a place where we have 4 more shows. Not 1, but 4, Trent. plus some extra content that we've been putting out. So you can hear us talk about movies that we love. You can hear us talk about romantic comedies and other romances, whatever I'm feeling like subjecting Trent to that particular month.
That's me.
We just finished up our very first box set series. We did the entirety of Christopher Nolan's Dark Knight trilogy. And guess what, you guys? If you haven't already figured it out, we're going to be doing a continuation of our series that we're working on right now. Stripper Sunday is rolling into box set because we're doing all 3 Magic Mike movies.
Oh, Betsy, you said it.
Yeah, it's happening.
It's happening.
We're going to have some fun with that one.
Only the people who are listening to the end of Dune Part 2 are going to hear about that, because we're not even going to announce it on the Sunday shows until the 3rd one.
This is a sneak preview. And then finally, of course, we have the Wayback Machine, which is our randomizer. That thing is going to send us to any kind of time and place. There's like a 60-year stretch of time, guys. We do not know what we're going to be watching. Could be good, could be terrible. Only the Wayback Machine will know.
And like she said, we got some extra bonus content out there where we're just having some conversations about not movies for once.
Yeah.
What's that about?
We do talk about things that are not movies.
And we also
as bizarre as that is.
And we also have some extra fun things in there that we just kind of throw up on occasion.
Yeah, we would love if you join us over there. That's patreon.com/neverseenitpod. $5 a month gets all of that. We would love your support because we're having a lot of fun over there.
Absolutely. So let's get into the email, shall we?
So if you've been paying attention, we just wrapped up our Oscar movies series, and we did get some responses from our superfan Stephanie, as she also was working through the Best Picture nominees.
Yeah, we got a backlog we got to get through. So apologies, Stephanie. This is for you.
So the first one we've got is when she watched The Holdovers. She begins, "Last night, I finally watched The Holdovers. It was great. It was super well written and super well acted. I kind of got that Angus's mom was ill-prepared for supporting herself and her kid, so she had to get remarried. And then because the father gets violent when he is agitated, it is difficult to find a good place for him too. So I did find her more sympathetic, but she is still handling everything very poorly."
Yeah, you can be, sympathetic, but you're also a grown-ass woman.
Yeah.
Take care of your shit.
It would be really nice if people were always prepared to be parents. And I think some people find themselves in a difficult spot like she does in that movie, and she wasn't prepared.
Yeah.
She can't do both.
She went off and got herself a rich new husband, and the rich new husband wants to have fun.
Yeah, so she has fun instead. Her email continues, "The filmmaking was very good. Super 70s in a very cool way. Agreed on 70s architecture being phenomenal. I also love 20s architecture."
Oh,
Hell,
boy.
yes.
We have an episode of our new quote-unquote show on Patreon called The Conversation Pit, where we talk about just that.
It's almost as if it was inspired by a conversation about not movies.
Yes.
Continuing, "I loved the subtle relationships. How Mary came to sit with Angus while Paul is in the headmaster's office with the parents and just quietly reaches out her hand. Absolutely beautiful.
Yeah.
The acting is so good." And this is an old email, so by the time this comes out, the Oscars have well passed. But she says the Oscar nominations are well deserved, but I agree that it would have been great to see Dominic Sessa get a supporting actor nomination. There are still a lot of movies that have a supporting actor nomination that I have not yet seen, so maybe they made the right call. Regarding Paul, I also have very clammy hands. Luckily, I don't smell. Anywho, I liked this one a lot. Love you guys, from Superfan Stephanie.
Thank you, Stephanie. Yeah, that clammy hands thing is a real condition. And, clammy hands is one thing, but if they're like constantly wet,
Yeah,
that is a real condition that you can have surgery for. I know people who have done it, and it helps.
Not in the 1970s. You couldn't, Trent.
No.
You just had to deal with it.
No.
All right. She also sent us an email about American Fiction. She begins, "I loved this movie. It is so funny, but also really great family drama. It is not a flattering example of white people, but that is okay, and honestly, only very slightly exaggerated. I feel like Paul Giamatti from The Holdovers and Jeffrey Wright from American Fiction would be best friends."
No, I don't agree with that, because I don't think these people really are friends with anybody.
The 30, 40-year time difference also maybe makes a small problem. I love all of the scenes with the other writers. It was so great. I love Lorraine.
Hell yeah.
Who doesn't love Lorraine? She is the absolute best, she says. I loved her relationship with the family and Maynard and just smiled every time she was on screen. On a personal note, my grandfather passed away 5 years ago. He and my grandmother were married for over 55 years. My grandma started dating recently, and she is so happy with her new boyfriend, and he is just the nicest guy. I love movies showing older people find love too. Yeah, it would be a bizarre thing if one of my grandparents started dating. Like, what? Okay.
Well, I mean, quote unquote dating. It'd be one
it's
thing.
Companionship.
It really is. You hear about all sorts of people in old folks' homes finding each other, and also, how old folks, and not to really put an image in your mind, but old folks' homes being a haven for STDs. Because hey, they find each other and they're not going to get pregnant, so it's just a big old fuck fest.
Hey, please never bring that up again.
But still, these people finding each other and finding out that yes, you can still love another person even after your husband or wife pass away.
Yes, and I also do just like in movies when we are representing different kinds of love, like people in their 50s and 60s and older people. You don't have to be young and beautiful exclusively to fall in love.
No, of course not.
All right, back to Stephanie's email. I like to think that at the end of the movie, he is finally just enjoying his time with his brother, spending his ridiculous amount of money that he earned from writing a ridiculous book. Art is so subjective. I love classics. I love really well-written modern fiction. I love trash crime thrillers. I love science fiction. I love rom-coms. I have read and honestly enjoyed smut. We all contain multitudes, and I like to think Monk learned this a little bit. I mean, he can still be a snob and enjoy his money. I mean, he did earn it by writing the book and doing all the press and media and creating a new persona. LOL. Love you guys from Superfan Stephanie.
It's true. I think he just needed to embrace the fact that he wrote a good book and it was his bestseller, and hey, you make your money.
Absolutely. And listen, we might be a little bit removed from the Academy Awards now, and it's old news, but that's our whole thing, is being late to the party. So if you haven't already listened to our Oscar special, where we cover all 10 of those movies, spoiler free, mind you, and we even ranked them, you can see where we put American Fiction and The Holdovers. That might be an activity you could do after you listen to this.
Yeah. After you watch most of the movies anyway.
Yeah, but like we said, it's spoiler free, so maybe that'll give you an idea of which ones you haven't seen that you should really watch.
Indeed.
But thank you again, Stephanie, as always, for sending us your thoughts on the movies that we are covering. We would love to hear from more of you. If you've made it this far, once again, thank you for listening. Email us, neverseenittpod@gmail.com.
We do it for you.
We do it for the people.
3 years. It is, again, our 3-year anniversary of this podcast. 3 years to the day. We're approaching 300 episodes.
Oh my God. 300 movies.
300 movies.
Specifically.
If you didn't notice, I kind of changed up the numbering system of our podcast.
You're a chaotic human being, Trent.
It's true, but because we are a movie podcast, not a specials podcast, every single episode where you see a number at the beginning of it, that is a new movie that we have not watched.
But all that to say, thank you. Thank you, thank you for listening to our podcast. We have been having lots and lots of fun. We are hoping once again, and I've said this to many people, that 2024 is our biggest year yet, that we're going into movie 300 and beyond, that we're going to make this bigger and better and crazier and weirder than ever.
Emphasis on weirder.
Emphasis on weirder. We hope you have enjoyed Dune Part 2. You don't have to wait long for the next new episode. We are right in the throes of Strippers Sunday, so come back on Sunday for another new episode of Never Seen It. From the bottom of our hearts, thank you again for listening. My name is Betsy.
And my name is Trent.
And we will see you on Sunday.